Welcome to my artist talk. Today I'm going to begin to talk about where I'm from, which is somewhere called St Albans. It's well known for its cathedral, its Roman roads, and St Alban, who is the first recorded Christian martyr in the UK. In the 3rd century, he took in a priest, and when the pagans came to arrest this priest, St Alban took his hood and pretended to be him, and so in the process lost his life and was executed on top of Holywell Hill in St Albans, which today, every year, annually, there's a sort of procession with very kitsch-looking outfits. So that's St Alban. St Albans is also well known for its fake tan, its acrylic nails, PLT sort of dresses, and loud mouthing by a lot of adolescents, and these were activities and things I found myself often involved in. And I have found often, like St Alban, I've put on a cloak, a disguise, and bore the consequences, and being unsure of what makes me individual as a creative and as a woman. And so my art practice, I'd say, then involves a lot of tradition, identity, and bending notions of what constitutes identity and at what point constitutes like self-fictioning or a hyperbolic form of the self, which I explore through lawcore, which is defined by Schumann Bishar in 2022 as an era belonging to digital capitalism, which is characterised by people's existential need to storify themselves at the very moment global narratives collapse in an unprecedented manner. So by exploring this idea, I look at the stereotypical 21st century, sort of idea of who a monster is, who a narcissist is, who these sort of people are, and how do they infiltrate the social fabric. Here is an example of a short film I did exploring the idea of Matt Hancock entering I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I used the lens of a deranged, obsessed fan who would continuously send him mail asking whether she was good enough to be his partner, knowing now that he was a celebrity rather than a politician. So the crux of the issue there, of course, is him as a celebrity, him as a politician wanting then to be a celebrity, and the idea of these lines being blurred. So often with my art practice then, what I do is take to the internet in forms of research and find problematic themes, misinformation, or anything that can't be information that can't be trusted for what it is, things of a problematic nature, bad news, and twist its narrative or recontextualize it within more traditional old tales and folklore and blur those boundaries. Another artist who inspires me who does this is Emilia Ullman with her work Excellences and Imperfections, where she took to Instagram in around 2013 and posted a litter of different stereotypes of women, which none of them were true and had legitimate, real reactions from fans. So it's this sort of like neurotic, self-fictioning, hyperbolic woman like Emilia Ullman crying here, and like Margie of Kemp here crying her eyes out, which really interests me, having these contrasts of female stereotypes, whether that be old, new, and the approaches of lawcore. So the woman who I've been focusing on for this upcoming project has been Margaret the Virgin, or Saint Margaret, who was well known for rejecting a very established Roman emperor for her hand in marriage. And in the process, this emperor, having never been told no, probably, consulted with the devil and turned into a dragon and swallowed her whole. And the story goes essentially that once Margaret was swallowed whole, She had her crucifix around her neck and managed to choke the dragon and escape from the dragon's mouth. There's many famous depictions and sculptures of this, whether that's Titian or more holier ones found in different churches in Europe. So I focused on this sort of tale because I've been interested in the idea of the 21st century monster versus the medieval monster, and how the monster is maybe a vessel for something bad, or is it sort of an innate thing, and whether like the monster is misunderstood and actually a victim of a broader societal thing. So here's an example of this that I've done and worked on in Project Space.
As a noun, monster means a large, ugly, and frightening imaginary creature. Do you want to hear the next one?
Yes.
As a noun, it means a thing of extraordinary or daunting size. Want to hear one more?
Yes.
As a noun, it means a congenitally malformed or mutant animal or plant. Do you want to hear the last one?
Yes.
Monster is an informal term. As a verb, it means
25-year-old Bonnie Blue from Derbyshire is making headlines around the world for filming herself having sex with teenagers and posting the footage online.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash.
So yeah, here is an example of the way that I've explored this idea of monster and this notion of identity by really zooming in to things and working in great detail in the editing process, which is also what I've done here in a larger sculptural work that I'm doing of this dragon, supposed dragon that swallows Margaret whole. I've been using plaster, chicken wire, and making individual ceramic tiles in order to mimic these really medieval approaches to sculpture. In the same way I have done this. Ramesh Nithindrian is another artist that I take inspiration from. He uses a lot of older materials and ancient myths, Sri Lankan myths, to create new characters, all founded off of reality TV show programs that he watches and consumes. So it's these merging of internet, really strenuous, traditional, earthy ways of making, along with more sort of like current and old themes of femininity, is like really my key way of approaching my art practice, and in the same way trying to digest and find remedies to this idea of digital bombardment, whether that's through really zooming into things, so something lacks specificness or detail, or looking into sort of like clues or hidden messages which can be unpicked and unwoven by the viewer, but only incrementally, in a way which is not fully accessible, but at the same time holds irony, and sort of underpins the issues of contemporary society that I see and hopefully others do see. So yeah, thank you for listening to my artist talk. If you have any questions, please let me know or email me. Thank you very much.